Okay, I think Stevie's gone offline. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if that little creep's gone. It was some sort of video I wanted to watch.
What must I do to keep him loving me? All this love I give.
Have a look here.
Got what you want, I got what you need.
marathon video. Yeah, I wanted to watch that. Let's have a looky. Monology edited the gears crash out. Clip this coalition. All right. Watch some of this gears crash out. Even though I already watched this, I'll skip through a lot of it to be fair. Alright. When Stevie comes back, we'll maybe watch a bit of that.
Look at all these shout outs I got to do. Wow.
Wow.
Cooper Stefaniak, what a name. Says, if I donate $500, will he not bring up a goal for 2 days? No, but if you donate $500, I won't bring up the goal for this stream. I'll say, hey, we already hit a bunch of milestones, and I'll only bring it up, any income, if someone else supports, and that's it. I won't ask for anything.
Only. Well, you get for 2 days. No, I'll give you one stream.
Sunday, because I said if this is a well-supported stream, I would play it again on Sunday. So if you did a $500 contribution right now, we'd lock it in. I would do a bunch of OPAC open.
I love how he actually thinks it's serious. Someone just fucking says about $500, and then he's just like, yeah, I'll do that. But you can only have one stream. Like the grifter comes out immediately. The grift comes out instantly, bruv. He's like, oh yeah, we'll lock it in. It's like, bro, they're just a random person in chat. It's like, sir, this is a Denny's. You know what I mean? It's literally a sir, this is a Denny's move. Am I still watching this joke? Sadly, yeah. I'm addicted. I'm in the Snortex, bruv. Once you fall in the Snortex, you can't get out. It's like a lifetime thing.
I wouldn't bring up income unless someone contributes for the rest of the stream. And we would play this again on Sunday, so it would do a lot of positive stuff.
Oh,
there you go.
Positive.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is the release day of the open beta of Gears of War E-Day, and I'm going to be checking this out on PC right now.
Right.
All right, we got level 50. That's pretty interesting. Someone is level 50 already. The game, the beta just released. Someone is level 50. What the fuck?
Really did not this really did not go well for him.
You go down way fast in this. You get down ridiculously fast in this. It used to take a long time for you to get down in here. You get down like immediately now. That's really weird.
Oh, my fucking wheel spin one.
I got instantly killed again. Do you see my point? I'm getting downed instantly every time someone shoots me. What the hell's up with that?
Huh? You suck? Maybe because you're trash.
What the fuck? Can anyone explain what just happened? It never used to be like that in Gear.
It did. It really did. It's a cover shooter, you're not on the cover. Brilliant.
Wow. I mean,
Cover
I hate to
shooter
say it, these
walked in the
people you
open.
get to be tell have been playing it non-stop. They have good weapons. They already know the map. It's my first.
No. They start. You all start with those
They're just
weapons.
completely dominating.
They have good weapons. He has those weapons too.
That? Not much. Just lose miserably, I guess.
I don't know where the shotgun is. See that thing on the on his back right there? That's the shotgun. That thing on his back right there. That's the shotgun.
Instantly killed again.
Nice.
Like, seriously, it's just instant death, instant death, instant death, right? Gears didn't used to be like that.
By the way, Chalky and Proxy as well.
But it seems like everyone just instant kills you.
Get
Like I
headshotted,
said, the teams are insanely unbalanced. You can tell the other team, they've been playing non-stop.
You can tell they've been playing non-stop.
Oh my god! What the fuck? Whoa! Whoa! What in the fuck was that, dude?
Instantly killed. Literally, I don't even know what killed me. What was it? How did it instantly kill me?
Everything. Oh my god, the shooting.
They always have the better guns. They've
got the same gun you have.
Is on the map. Take a look at the deaths. One killed with the sniper, the lancer, and one killed with the Nasher. So they just keep running to the better weapons and dominating us because they know where they are.
He has the
We
Nasher.
don't even know what we're doing. It's our first match. So the matchmaking already failed miserably and put us in with people who've been playing nonstop.
Runs right past the cover. We've done really well there. You're still hurt. You're literally a second from death, and you're just standing in the open trying to shoot people. In a game where there is also a mechanic for you to fire from within cover, literally like that, hang your fucking gun over and fire whilst remaining in cover.
So let's
That's also a mechanic in this
people
game.
who are level 50, level 20, who've been playing the beta nonstop and know all the weapons and maps. Let's see if I can actually play against people who are my level just starting off on the beta release day, since that's a complete waste of my time. Literally, first match, it was a waste of my time because the matchmaking sucked. Okay. Great start, huh? First match, completely unbalanced garbage, not even worth playing. Second match, canceled because can't find enough players.
What a great game!
You've got to be fucking kidding me. Did you see the matchmaking? The other team had a level 15, a level 21. We're all level 1 to 5. That's the matchmaking they gave us again. You gotta be joking, man. How do you throw grenades? Up, right? Up on the pad? Well, I got killed and then I got killed.
Right?
Position!
Of course he has the Nasher and he insta-kills. Gee, you mean the level 15 and level 21 guys already know the map, already know where all the weapons are, already got the Nasher and can insta-kill because they've played already? While the level 1s get melted because they don't know what they're doing? It's almost like in rank, you shouldn't match someone who's been playing a lot with someone who's just starting. Almost like that's like a foreign concept to these fucking game developers, right? Fucking idiots.
Here we go with the The double stab nonsense. Look at this. Come on. I know you're already in the room and I double stab you before you can even swing at me. What the fuck? What the fuck was the game dev thinking? What a complete shithead. What a fucking asshole.
Yeah, you imagine on your you get thrown into the game and you see DSPs on your team. You just be like, oh fuck.
That was a miserable fucking performance.
Again, an insta-kill.
It
People are saying I
sucks so
have
bad.
the Nasher. I do. So you don't have to pick it up. You just start with it. Okay, I didn't know that. Obviously, that wasn't explained.
Obviously, it
I
wasn't
do have
explained.
the
It's
Nasher.
literally on your back. It wasn't explained. It's literally on his back.
I have the prototype Lancer, I have the snub, and I have a smoke grenade. Okay,
Right.
I didn't know any of that because the game didn't explain.
The game didn't explain it to me because I'm a complete fucking retard. I can't even try and change weapons and think, why have I got another gun on my back and one in my hands? The game didn't explain it. Get in cover.
Here, what the hell is this?
Get in the
There's a step.
cover.
How was I supposed to know there was a step there? Oh my god.
Did you have eyes?
I thought, oh, I could go behind the cover. No, there's a step you're supposed to climb up.
Did you have
Go
eyes?
behind the cover.
Don't let him back in! We have the gear down!
Insta kill with the shotgun again.
Yep, like it's
Gee, I
always
wonder if
like
these
it
people
always
have
has
playing
been.
non-stop, huh? Insta fucking kill.
Like it always has been since Gears 1. The Nasher is basically the whole meta since Gears 1.
That was a miserable
Did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not.
Yeah, we were gonna watch
Oh,
Gamer
hi.
Stevie, but he's gone offline.
We have a gear test.
He's angrily. Where the fuck is okay. Gamer
Again,
Stevie
people
is
playing their first match and not
gone
be matched
offline
with
to
people who have
Spurg
been
post
playing
for the
and are
rest of
level
the day.
20 and can insta-kill you.
If we look, he's probably already posted some
Absolutely
dribble.
terrible matchmaking. 2 matches in, it's garbage.
Can't do anything about it. It's fucking complete garbage.
He's gone offline, so what you will see is a bunch of
You have
posts
to give me
today.
time to learn the game. You can't put me with pros. in
Stevie
the
just
fucking
does this all
first
day.
2 matches, which is exactly what
Sometimes
it's
he'll
on.
post his rants and then delete them. Yeah, he's deleted them. He posts these giant paragraphs like spurging out, and then he deletes them like the next day.
Just in time!
He always deletes them because he clearly goes back and thinks, oh, I shouldn't say that. This complete little spastic freak. Like he posted a video about Seru's video. He posted a thing about Seru's video saying, oh, I didn't watch the video. Why are people making videos about me saying I'm toxic? And just deletes it like an hour later or like 12 hours later. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. He is playing Gears like it's COD, yeah, just charging, rolling in. Zero as well. He doesn't know how to
Poorly for
move
a
in
first
Gears.
match, but again, those people.
Can we very briefly, I don't play Gears. I don't play Gears, as in multiplayer. I never really liked the Gears multiplayer. Not because I thought the game mode itself was shit. It's just not my type of multiplayer game. But I'm going to play Stalker, but I'm going to briefly demonstrate how you don't play Gears of War. Because you can do this in the campaign as well. It's very simple. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, dude. Let's go. I ever beat this game on Insane? I think I did, right? There you go. Complete all acts on Insane. 2009. Nearly 20 years ago. Right. This is how you move. This is how you don't move in Gears. When you're playing multiplayer or the campaign. This is how you don't move. This is how you don't move in Gears. When there's, especially when there's enemies. Where's the enemies? Dom, where are they, bro? Where are they, bro? I guess I went the wrong way. Oh, someone's fighting. Well, I guess they're this way. Oh, there they are. I mean, this is not the best part to demonstrate because they're snipers.
I'll take this. Did enough to me. Good night.
This isn't really the best place to demonstrate it, but like, just running like this, look, like this, just running like that without cover. This is how you die in Gears, just like this shit, this shit. This is how you die in Gears. See how I got hit? This is how you die in Gears. And there's cover everywhere. See how, like, and again, this is not the best thing, but like roadie running and dodging and hopping over to cover real quick, all that shit, that's how you move in Gears. That's how you, that's the movement you need in Gears, okay? I know there's an explosive there.
Let's split up here. Cover both paths.
But just running blatantly into the fight like this is the stupidest thing you can do.
Watch
Like,
the
even when
sides,
moving
Delta.
around sides and stuff, again, this is campaign, so there's not as much cover right here. But you're constantly like, all this shit. Again, that wasn't a cover I could get the edge on. But you're like, you should
Anybody
constantly
needs
be
some
like
sniper
that.
Practice.
Hey, we got dudes.
That's one.
I'm going for the headshot.
That's two. That's three. That's four.
Like, it's just not... No one that's ever played Gears, ever, again, even in the campaign, doesn't understand, like, how you move in this game. You know? Like, it's not... Again, perfect example. This is how you move in Gears. Even then, that was like, because the machine gun's on me, even though I'm roadie running and trying to get to cover, I'm still getting lit up. I mean, to be fair, these are two Troikas, so it's not really the best example. See the difference? See the difference? As opposed to just standing there, just walking people down. Like, you're just going to get destroyed in this game if you walk people down. Gears is not a game where you walk people down. Gears has never been a game where you walk people down.
Look around. Find some ammo.
But anyway, that's the point. You never run. You're never just running like that. Oh, let's run. You're constantly doing that. Like, because again, you clear distance. It's not even about, like, the cover. You're faster. I'm like that, and I quickly tap. I wasn't quite close enough then, but like... Oh, shit. Like, you're faster. You cover more distance when you're sprinting. And when you're, like, sliding to the cover. I'm doing it a bit too far. But, like, again, he just, like, runs up like that. He runs up like he's shooting, and then he, like, takes cover here. He's got, like, no bounce to him at all. He doesn't, like, side exit like that. He can't do none of that shit. He has no idea how to move in this game. He has zero clue how to move in this game. Anyway.
Level 15, level 21, they know the map.
They know the map.
Insta-kill with the shotgun. They've been playing the entire beta last week. Why am I matched with them in a first match? Literally what should happen is should match you with people who are your same level. It didn't do that at all. That was pathetic. So this map kind of reminds me of a map from
that was
previous
pathetic.
Gears, but I don't think it is. I think it is a new map.
That was pathetic.
Now I'm on a team with a level 32 and a level 20, which is also ridiculously unfair.
Is this trash?
So I'm on a team with two really good players. Why?
They won't forget.
Jesus. First shot, but I wasn't close enough. I wasn't close enough.
Sure.
Don't lost. Well, where did it go?
He wasn't close enough, guys.
Oh, it glitched. Did
That's
you
why
see
he got
that?
totally destroyed.
His body
By the way.
disappeared and I was chainsawing him. Did I get the kill? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't think so.
That's so dissatisfying because you're eager to get the chainsaw animation, and then it fucking took it away.
I'm with you.
What?
Huh?
What?
What the fuck?
Can anyone explain what just happened?
I don't know what happened. Some great hacking there.
It played the chainsaw sound effect. It should have done it. Instead, I just died instantly. That's bullshit. I should have got him. I ran right into him with the chainsaw. He should have been dead.
this thing!
Nice.
You held the line.
Yeah, baby.
With distinction. I could not ask for more.
Yeah,
Good
baby.
stuff.
Geez, so cringe.
Yeah.
That's so.
Final word. Got the final
He is
kill in a
so
versus match. Executioner got the
fucking
most
cringe.
executions in a versus
Yeah,
match.
baby.
Nice. And the cleaner. Chainsaw
Clapping
execute 5
himself for
enemies.
winning a round of Gears
Nicely done.
beta
Of course, that was the
and
worst,
putting that
but
like
still, I got 5
wrestling
chainsaws.
like
It's awesome.
that wrestling sort of like
Very good.
twang on his accent.
So
Yeah.
getting into it, right?
So
getting into it,
cringe.
trying to get learn the
He
ropes
is
again.
so
remembering some of the stuff.
insanely
Now, I think the
cringe.
shotgun seems
It's
insanely good in this
painful
one.
to watch
The
this
shotgun seems crazy
and hear him
powerful.
talk.
Yeah.
It's so painful to hear him talk.
After this match, I have to go
Yeah,
on a break, but
baby.
That's fine.
Oh God. Okay, bro.
Look
You're
at the
doing
team
real
they put
good.
me on. 2 level 50s.
Oh,
This
it's
is see what I mean?
painful,
Matchmaking's
man.
busted. That's not fair.
Painful as hell.
That's totally not fair. What happened? How'd I die? How the hell did I die?
Who knows? And you're pretty trash at the game, so who can
Oh,
say?
that's my teammate. Oh my god. What? Oh, I didn't.
What?
He was rolling forward, but I got downed by his shots. But he was rolling. I think the game is lagging.
Game's laggy, dude. The game's laggy, bro.
Yeah, I don't know about this match. Look, this guy has no name. What? How does this guy have no name?
Must be lagging, bro.
I wonder if the game is glitched out and bugged and or someone's cheating. It's weird.
Super laggy and broken. Someone's cheated. I love how they're always cheating.
Oh my god, I get down instantly.
They're always cheating.
How do you see your team? Yeah, what's going on here? Dude, someone's not playing. Look. Someone literally isn't playing. This T Brasco isn't playing the game. Because he got 0 kills. He's no points, so he's not playing. Yeah, fuck this.
Right?
Over soon.
Going well?
He quit. He rage quit.
I'm not playing it. We supposedly have 2 level 50s, but someone's not playing the game, and they're completely dominating us because of it. Fuck that. I'm not playing that match. Fuck that shit. I'm not playing that match. To hell with that. I want to play a real fucking match, not a match where someone's sitting around not playing. To hell with that.
Hell with that.
Why is it always the same map, too? Is there only one map in the beta? Yeah, look. It's always the same map.
Look.
What's going on with this? They only put one map in the open beta? That doesn't sound right. You think they would have done at least more than one? This sucks.
Enemy caught you lacking. And now you lost. Let's get to work.
You rolled right over the shotgun. What am I supposed to do? And again, my team hasn't been together the whole match. Not once have we been together to work together. We're all separated out. See, this guy's all the way over there by himself.
Okay.
Now we're trying to get over there. We're not going to be able to help him. This is ass.
Chaos.
Now someone's already behind me. What the hell? How the fuck is he already behind me?
Wow.
This guy, are you kidding me? Another person who's not playing? Who is this? They dropped from the fucking game.
Oh, what a shame. You never get
So now
connection
there's
issues.
no way to win because it's 3 versus 4.
You never normally get connection issues. Like, makes sense, I see you.
He quit. He rage quit.
This is not boding well for the game. It's not. It's not boding well for the game at all. How are you supposed to win a ranked match when someone drops?
It's a
You can't
multiplayer
win.
beta in a game that's, I want to
Forget
say,
it.
70, 80% focused on...
Yes, I dropped from a game because the game was not
story-driven
was
campaign.
not fair. The matchmaking is not good. You can already tell. It's
a
not
beta.
matching properly. It's getting
a
level
beta.
50s into ranked lobbies with level 1s.
It's a beta.
Right? And it's not playing well. That last match was lagging. Not this one.
It's
The
a
one
beta.
before was lagging. And now this match, we're trying to play like, I don't understand what's going on. It's going fine, and the guy dropped.
It's a beta.
Well, what I will say is this. The gunplay seems fine. Okay. The movement is definitely different. It doesn't feel like traditional Gears at all because the movement is multi-directional now rather than just straightforward running. You know what I mean? It's very different in that regard. I don't know if I like it yet. I didn't play enough. I'm going to play more, obviously. But I'm kind of upset there's only one map. The whole beta is one map. Is that true? Like, the thing is, I want to play a different map. Is there a way to play a different map?
Imagine a beta only being 1 or 2 maps. You never heard of that before.
You can't even select the map. It just does it automatically.
Yeah, never heard of that before. Only in like the
So
history
that's
of all
kind of
other video
disappointing.
games
Like, I
of
wanna
beta's
see
been
other
like
maps.
literally 1 or 2
And
multiplayer maps ever.
Now I don't know what's going to happen. If it's the same thing all day, people are going to be bored. You know what I'm saying? Initial feedback, I think graphics are good. I'm only playing at 1440p, but I think the graphics are good. And I think that the gameplay could be sound, but right now I think it's the matchmaking that's the problem.
Right.
Why would you match level 1s and 2s with level 50s?
Probably
It's an
'cause it's
open
a
beta.
beta.
There's more than enough players. So if your matchmaking is that bad, that means that you failed. So hopefully it's better. It gets better.
Probably
I don't know.
'cause
I
it's
guess
a
we'll
beta.
see. But we'll continue on. Let's see what happens.
That's probably the reason, I'd imagine. You know?
Okay. So guys, it is time for the break of the stream. After this, I'll be back and we'll have another break. But this will be about 10 minutes. I'll play you guys some highlight clips. Now, in the meantime,
Support the stream.
please support the stream. As you can
Yeah.
see, since I started playing the game, here we go again.
Not good.
Seriously, since we started playing the game,
No money.
$4. $4 of support.
NSX for the $10 tip. I really do appreciate it. Things were been really fucking slow today. The earlier stream, and now tonight, like, I don't know why. Today was just a real slow day. So I do appreciate that very much. Thank you very much, M5 NSX. That's a good tip to help me out here tonight.
A
Thank you.
good tip. That's a
Okay?
classic, babe.
So if you like this, if
Great
you want to
beg
see
there.
more of it, if you want more multiplayer, you want me to try more multiplayer games, because like I said, if this stream did well, I was going to play it again on Sunday. Please support the stream. When I come back, let's get some support for Gears of War, okay?
Please support the
Stop
stream,
begging.
guys.
It's not begging. It's motivating, bitch. We want to hit the goals. We want to keep the momentum. We want to keep it rolling. We don't want to slow down. We don't want to sputter. We don't. All right. I'll be
We
right
wanna
back. In
keep
the
it
meantime,
rolling.
let's do some highlight clips, and I'll see you guys in like 10 minutes.
All right, we're gonna see if this works.
All right, but we are currently at $33 of support for the stream. That's terrible. All right, if you like multiplayer, if you like me doing different stuff rather than the single player stuff,
He
that I've
got
been
wailed
doing
out anyway, didn't he?
right? If you want to see me try competitive in a game, please support this
I'm sure
stream.
we got wailed out
Remember,
here
if this
anyway.
stream does well, I'm going to play it again on Sunday, a second dose of the beta. Maybe on Sunday they'd have new maps too. I don't know. If this stream does poorly, we're not doing it Sunday. And quite frankly, I don't want people yelling at me and saying I don't do multiplayer because I'm playing multiplayer right now. Then you should come and support the stream if you want it.
Basically, here's a whiny baby.
Because it's the single player streams that are doing well. Think about it. Assassin's Creed yesterday did great. Freaking Final Fantasy VI doing amazing, right? Everything else this week I'm doing did well. I branch out and decide to do multiplayer, and I make $33, out of which 29 was made on the show before.
Branching out is
So,
hilarious.
if you like this, support it, and thank you. What do I
I
think of the fact that
branched
the
out.
full release will only have 6 maps? That sounds terrible. Quite frankly, that sounds awful. Any competitive multiplayer game should have more than 6 maps.
Branching out. Yeah, this looks ominous.
These guys suck.
This looks like a fun place to explore, doesn't it, chat?
These guys are literally terrible.
Did a fine job capturing the zone.
Oh god, what the fuck? Yo, look how bad this guy is. He walked right by me, fired twice, and missed, right?
I think this where it actually goes there. The train comes out here. In the old game,
Okay.
there's a train tunnel here. Well, maybe not though.
Yeah,
looking at it,
apparently we found players worse than me. I know that's probably like a big challenge, but they players are pretty bad, honestly.
change that map up.
Okay, so thank you for the support. Let's see what we got. Cantaloupe did 500 kicks, and he said the moral support on the kick chat is commendable. So thank you for 500 kicks, first off. And then he did 10 subs. Thank you,
There's bad
Cantaloupe, for
guys.
10 subs. So that is $50 of support. That earns one pack because it's a $50 contribution. If we get to $100 of total support on the stream, that'll be 2 packs.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
You gotta love that when someone contributes to me, everyone in Kick Chat freaks out because they're all trolls, so they're all very upset that Cantaloupe just supported the stream. Cantaloupe, thank you.
Yeah, see, he got whaled out. I told you.
As you can see, it was a very low support stream, and I do appreciate you supporting. Thank you.
I appreciate you bailing me out so I can
Sitting
feel
waiting
good
for more
and say
players,
the
that's not a
stream was
good
supported.
sign. My first match already didn't find enough. Pot of Greed, you know I'm generalizing. It's not everyone, but I mean, you're not blind, right? You're outright seeing it.
Holy
Cantaloupe
fuck,
supports the stream in a big way, and immediately everyone's toxic in the Kick Chat, upset. They're insulting Cantaloupe. They're so upset that I get support, right? I don't think this is gonna work. Once again, and I can't even back out. I actually can't even back out of the match right now. Look. Yeah, it's screwed up. I guess I gotta close it. Yeah. It crapped out on me. Yeesh. PS Guy, how are you? This is how you doing today. Well, I'll be honest, PS Guy. I am trying to learn the ropes in this new gear. Okay, the movement is definitely way different than other gears because you can move in every direction now. So it's a lot more free-flowing, free-moving, and because of that, I'm getting mowed down by people who are very fast
You can
moving up
move
and
in every
blasting with a
direction.
shotgun. Outside of that, the graphics seem fine, the gameplay seems sound, so no real complaints. Just I suck, and I'm trying to get better. But that's about it, I would say. Well, if you are enjoying the multiplayer today and you like Gears and you want to see me play it again on Sunday, please support the stream as I've explained. If we have a well-supported stream right now, I will play this again on Sunday. I'm thinking hopefully on Sunday they'll have more maps, right? Maybe they're going to rotate the maps around. But if not, if this ends up being a slow stream, then I'm not playing this on Sunday. Okay? And by the way, again, for the record, I don't want people complaining that I don't play multiplayer, because when I attempt to play multiplayer, half the time people don't show up and support it. That's on you, not on me. I'm trying something different. I know I'm not good at Gears. I never was. I do want to try something different with this game.
That's on
so
you,
please
chat.
support the stream if you like it, okay?
I love that.
Notably, let's get a tip. We haven't had any big tips or anything today.
Wow.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Let's get
Right now, we did get 10 subs and kicks from Cantaloupe, and I appreciate that. It would be great to get some super chats, some tips, maybe some memberships. We haven't had any today. That'd be great. Waiting for players. That's not a good sign. Why would we be waiting for players? The lobby's full. What do you mean? Yeah, Blu-ray says, I literally have zero hope for this campaign after 5. Yeah, I think a lot of people after 5, kind of were turned off
pretending
at
he
that
knows
campaign.
anything about
I played
Gears
through it
now,
and I
it's
thought
funny.
it was okay, but I was like, yeah, it definitely isn't as good as the classic Gears campaigns, you know? Jeez, what is going on? Can I play? No, I guess not. I'm not allowed to play. By the way, once again, I'm not allowed to back out. This is the second match. You can't leave. What is going on with you? Okay, fine. All right, good. Oh my god, the entire team's level 50s. Are you shitting me?
No covering at all. I'm all the way back here for good cover. The fakest laugh ever.
It's a team of level 50s against a team of level 3s and 4s. That's what the matchmaking just gave. Are they crazy?
No.
Dude, this matchmaking is awful.
Oh my god! What the fuck? Whoa! Whoa! Don't lose him. What in the fuck was that, dude? Holy fucking titty twisting mother! Oh! Damage on the wheel.
Again, instant mulching. Again, these players have been playing tryhard sweats the fucking entire week, I guess. And they're masters of instantly getting an instant kill with the Nasher. Here I am, just a noob, getting completely destroyed. Great matchmaking. I walked straight up to his face with the chainsaw and it still gave him a shotgun kill. If you say so. Yeah, basically the shotgun is insanely broken. You can tell. So I'm just not gonna use the chainsaw anymore. I'm just gonna run around with the Nasher like they're doing. Because since that's what they're doing, that must be how you play. You can't play with the chainsaw at all.
That's what everyone has ever done on Gears.
Alright, fuck this. I'll just run around with the Nasher then. Until I master it.
That's how it's always been.
Nothing I can do there whatsoever. Like, we're not doing anything. Our team is terrible. We're nowhere near as good as them. Look, everyone on my team is awful. We're all terrible players because we're all
That's how
new.
it's always been.
They put us against a team of fucking pros who've been playing non-stop. What do you think's gonna win? I couldn't even fire my gun. I went to fire and it like didn't work, and then I was dead. So what I actually think happened is I went to fire, but I was already dead, but it was delayed and didn't show me dead as I died. You know what I'm saying? Like I was already dead. That's why the gun didn't fire.
He was already dead, chap.
This was a complete waste of a match. There was no reason to play it.
And it wasn't his
These
fault.
guys are fucking try-hard sweat. He wasn't even facing me. His back was to me, and he killed me with the shotgun. Literally, his back was to me, and he killed me with the shotgun. You saw that, right? Go watch the replay. He's not even looking at me.
Try hard sweat.
So what this is telling you is the connections in the game are actually
better
awful.
at the game than
They
him.
hide that with the way that the game looks, but actually it's completely laggy bullshit.
What the hell? Are you kidding me? I was in an advantageous position because of the online lag. He mashed and got a super. Wow, dude. That was the luckiest win I've seen in a long time. He was wide open for a combo. Wow.
The guy was not even facing me and killed me backwards.
Classic DSP wine voice and the Kiambo compilation.
Dude, the game, that's so ridiculous. The chainsaw's worthless. Because every time you try to kill him with the chainsaw with these connections, it says, oh, they shot you first. But he didn't. I blatantly had the chainsaw in his body, and it didn't trigger the animation, and then it allowed him to shoot me, which means the game lags. In fact, does this game show you? It doesn't. This game doesn't show you at all the quality of your connection.
I mean, he definitely
At
is
all.
slow as shit.
It
So.
hides it. Really?
Sounds like a him problem to me.
Pamby, lipstick bitch.
Yeah.
I've seen in a while. Congratulations.
So I just turned on the network notification. I wonder if this is going to show the quality of your connection now.
I don't think it did.
Because I can 100% tell you that was the laggiest match that I played. How am I in the guy's body with the chainsaw? It doesn't trigger the animation, and then it shows him shooting me with the shotgun after
I
late.
can 100%.
That's atrocious. So let's see. I set it up. I put the supposed on-screen network thing. Let's see what that looks like now.
Again, I don't know if it said that.
I like that they demoted me to D already after they put me in one ranked match against all try-hard rank 50s. I'm a rank 3.
Annoyed.
I lost the match. They punished me and demoted me to D.
Annoyed. He's annoyed he got demoted. That's fantastic.
Wow. I mean, that's really going to motivate people to keep playing, isn't it? Unreal. Dude, this is ridiculous. Why does it suck? Why does the game suck? Why is it all based on shotgun? I don't want to just play with the shotgun. I'm going to have to. I want to play with the other guns, but watch, the shotgun's going to be the only effective gun. They fucked up the game because they wanted it to make it for sweats, like playing Gears 1. See? You can fill them with bullets, and it does nothing. You need the shotgun. So forget it. I'm just going to use the shotgun. I'm not going to waste time. I'm just going to use the shotgun. This is completely stupid that no gun is effective but the shotgun in the game. Idiotic.
Why did Exos take something to get on headshot?
Oh, I went to fire. I was late. I was slow. I was definitely slow there. Even though I shot him first, and he should have had reduced health, I got down. Oh, gee, I wonder why we're losing, guys. Wonder why we're losing the match. It's weird because at the beginning we were winning, and then one of our teammates dropped, and now we're losing.
Again, that's not really like... not really the helps.
What the fuck? How'd he get him up instantly? Dude, he had no health. He just got down. I reloaded. I went to fire again. He's already up. You can instantly get your teammates up? Or is the game lagging again? Wow. That was complete ass, because at first we started off well, and one of our teammates dropped, and that's why we lost. It was 4 versus 3. So, of course, they were overpowering us. Lame. Lame as shit. Oh, someone else had quit too. By the end, it was just 2 of us.
Nice.
Jeez.
They were quitting because they were on your
Are
team.
you kidding? Is it glitched again?
I think that'd make
You
anyone
gotta
want
be
to quit
kidding me.
being on a
It's
team with
glitched
DSP.
again. Dude, what is wrong with modern gaming? No games work anymore.
Uh-oh.
We just dealt with Marvel Tocom.
It's a beta.
This is ridiculous. It
It's a
doesn't
beta.
work. Look.
It's a beta. It's a beta.
This is out of control. So, 2 matches didn't load at all, just like that. Okay?
It's a beta.
Several matches in ranked, someone would drop. Therefore, you couldn't actually play the match because it was always lopsided.
It's a beta.
Then if you got the match to work, half the time, the matchmaking doesn't work properly, so you end up with a team stacked with level 50s and a team of newbies against each other. This is not boding well for the game.
It's a beta.
I will say this, I'm happy that it's on Game Pass. I am a Game Pass sub. I'm not going to cancel Game Pass or anything. So I'll be able to play it, but
So I'm
can
still
you
gonna give
imagine
Microsoft my
buying
money,
the game,
good.
paying a full retail price for this?
Good, Mr. Shield.
This is not a good game experience at all. This is ridiculous.
This is a good cut. I hadn't seen a lot of this.
The match isn't still in progress. The match was frozen, you idiot. Oh my god. I don't know about
What a
modern game
baby.
design anymore. I just don't. Can you tell me why this doesn't work?
Poor guy.
Blu-ray says we moved past it's a beta excuses in 2026. This is the main game you're going to get at launch.
It's a beta.
Beta basically always has been like that, even more so nowadays. Correct.
Not true.
100%. I do not believe
Not true.
the final game will be better. Just look at what just happened with Marvel Tokon. The beta ran like ass on PC, so people complained. And they said, don't worry, we'll fix it in 2
came out in
weeks.
like
Came
3
out
weeks.
broken. 10 gigabyte patch, still broken.
He's got like 4 days, 4 months or something.
I got another
Half it's
$1.50
gonna be
tip. Am I going to
campaign when
get
it
the
comes out.
Metal Gear Solid 4 remake? Well, I'm getting the collection, and people seem to want me to play Metal Gear Solid 4
Cringe.
at the end of the month, so the answer is likely yes.
Cringe.
All right, this is the last match. I hope we can play it. I'm trying to get a final match, and the game won't let me get a match. Oh, a team of level 20-somethings versus a team of level 1s and me at level 5. You've got to be kidding.
What was this statue? It must be underground.
Not my fault. Fuck this game. Fuck this stupid fucking game.
Go down looking for it. Most
You can climb up there? I didn't even know. You can climb on top of the case there. Because that's what he must have done. He must have climbed on top of the case when I was trying to get him. I'm done. I'm done.
He quit. He rage quit.
It showed the chainsaw cutting into him.
This has happened many
It
times in
reversed the chainsaw
Since Gears 1.
and showed him shooting me. It literally reversed
Since
the
Gears
fucking
1.
chainsaw that was already cutting into him. I'm done. The game is fucking terrible. Are you fucking kidding me? You reversed my chainsaw execution. I've never seen that happen before in a Gears game.
Since Gears 1.
Have you ever seen a chainsaw kill someone and then reverse time?
Since Gears 1. Since Gears 1,
I'm done.
that's been happening.
Fuck this game.
Your game
That
sucks.
has been a thing since
Your
Gears
game
1.
is still a piece of fucking donkey shit.
What is wrong with modern game development? Can someone answer this question for me? Why don't we have any competent game developers anymore? In what fucking universe would you tell me that's competitive gameplay? That you fucking reversed my chainsaw execution. Fuck you, Coalition. Send this to them. Clip this. Hey, Coalition. Fuck you. You're a bunch of fucking hacks. You don't deserve a paycheck. Did you see how bad your fucking game is? That's insanity.
I love it.
Wow. Fuck this game. I can't believe that. I literally can't fucking believe what I just saw. My mind is blown. This is modern gaming. All right, but it's just a beta, right? It's just a beta. We just had a beta of Tokon. 2 weeks later, the game released exactly the same. They patched it. It's still the same. So just like, what's his name just said, I have no confidence whatsoever that this game will be better when it comes out in October. They do have time, okay? But I really have no confidence at all that they will make this game better. This game is going to come out
I
exactly
don't know how they're
the
going to
same.
cope with that.
You've got to be joking me.
You've got to be fucking
Ruben
shitting
Sano,
me. This
correct.
game still doesn't fucking work.
Dude, you gotta be joking me. It's been 2 fucking days. It's been 2 days. It doesn't work.
So in the beta, here's what we've learned. Number one, the shotgun is insanely overpowered. All the other weapons are completely worthless besides the power weapon.
If you've been able to play Gears since Gears 1, you would know that everyone uses the shotgun.
The actual matchmaking is atrocious. You'll constantly be matched with people that are level 50 tryhards if you're level 1 just trying to learn the game.
Tryhards again.
Number 3, the matchmaking doesn't work properly. It drops,
Those
it freezes,
fucking
it has
tryhards.
problems. If someone quits out of a ranked match, you literally lose for free. How is that your fault? Why are you getting penalized because someone quit? The game's terrible. That's incredible. I'll say this, the Horde mode was fun. The Horde mode, like, it seems like if you team up with friends and you go online and you do Horde mode waves, that could be pretty fun. I hope the campaign is good. It's hilarious that they've erased the modern plotline and they went back in time to make this game because no one cares about the modern plotline after 5.
They haven't erased
included.
it.
Like, I think that they really ran it into the
not,
ground.
Not carrying it on right now.
The Coalition sucks.
Your game sucks. Your game is still a piece of fucking donkey shit.
Phenomenal. Yeah, nice edit. Oh.
Game that would carry the studio beyond Destiny. Instead, it lost 92% of its players in 5 months. And while the company kept calling the game important, half the studio was cut in a single day. And Bungie saw this coming, because for 5 years its own developers said the players Marathon was built for did not exist. This is the story of how that prophecy came true. It starts 3 decades earlier, with the name itself. In December 1994, a small Chicago studio released a science fiction shooter for the Macintosh. The studio was Bungie, the lead programmer was Jason Jones, one of its co-founders, and the game was called Marathon. Marathon was so popular that players got a trilogy of it, 1 game a year through 1996. Marathon is the series that made Bungie matter, years before Halo made Bungie famous. And Bungie never stopped wanting to make another one. The proof is written into one of the most important contracts in gaming history. Because for most of the last 2 decades, Marathon was legally not allowed to exist. In April 2010, Bungie signed the biggest development deal the industry had ever seen. 10 years and $500 million, with Activision publishing a brand new franchise called Destiny. The contract behind that deal was generous beyond anything the business had produced. Deep inside that contract sits a clause almost nobody would read for years. In it, Bungie carved out a single exception for itself. A prototype project, and the document names it, in writing. A future action shooter product, tentatively known as Marathon. Then came the conditions. Bungie was allowed to put no more than 5% of its people on Marathon, and Bungie was forbidden from publishing Marathon at all until Destiny had earned $375 million in operating income, meaning actual profit, not just money coming in.
Wow.
If Destiny reached $750 million, the Marathon team could grow to a quarter of the company. Only if Destiny crossed $1 billion could Bungie staff the Marathon team however it liked. And even then, Activision kept for itself the first right to negotiate publishing it. 16 years before Marathon launched, its existence was a reward tier in another game's contract. That document was never meant to be public, and the only reason anyone can read it is a courtroom. In 2012, 2 previous Call of Duty executives sued Activision, and a Los Angeles judge ordered the Bungie contract unsealed as a trial exhibit. Keep that 5% clause in your head, because it is going to shadow Marathon's fate for the next 16 years. Destiny shipped, and what happened to Destiny from here on matters as much to Marathon as anything Marathon ever did, because the 2 games' fates were intertwined right from the start. Destiny became a commercial giant that never stopped being a creative headache. Its launch scored a 77 from critics against the 90 the contract paid bonuses on, and the relationship with Activision soured year by year, until in early 2019, Bungie negotiated its way out of the deal, choosing independence over building a contracted Destiny 3. Somewhere in that wind down around 2018, the old Marathon name finally came off the shelf. The man who reached for it had spent 2 decades building Bungie's biggest worlds, and what he wanted to build with Marathon looked nothing like the game that eventually shipped. His name was Christopher Barrett. He joined Bungie in 1999, worked across Myth, Halo and Destiny, and rose to become one of the studio's most senior creative leaders, with a seat on Bungie's own board. Few people inside the building carried more history with the studio's old worlds. The marathon that Barrett wanted to build was not an extraction shooter. Years later, after he was gone and everything had gone public, he described the original inspiration in his own words. It was not Tarkov or extraction shooters, he wrote. It was Dark Age of Camelot, a tense living world filled with co-op player stories and the potential danger of other players. His design goals read like a manifesto from another timeline. He wanted persistent servers and a player-driven living world, with survival systems layered on top, and puzzles and mysteries that echoed the dreaming city from Destiny. And he had one goal he wrote down in 2 words: no heroes. Every character in his marathon would be unique, built by you, never picked from a roster. To be clear, Extraction was part of his pitch, but as the wrapper, not the product. It was simply a convenient way to slice that living world into 15-minute sessions, where you could win or lose something real. And the win conditions were to be written for the mass audience, so the game could feel worthy of your time, without you needing to outshoot every stranger in the lobby. That is one account of where this game came from.
Any more of these games do we need?
It is the account of the man who pitched it. The other account comes from reporting after things fell apart, and it is far less romantic. In the second version, the idea grew out of Bungie leadership playing Escape from Tarkov, and one senior figure, described in reporting as a good old boy of the studio, meaning an old guard insider whose ideas did not get questioned, pushed the concept until it became Bungie's biggest bet outside Destiny. 2 origin stories sit on the record, and they do not describe the same game. Marathon would spend the next 6 years trapped between them. The version that went forward was the second one. Around 2020, with the Activision divorce final, and the studio fully its own boss, Marathon moved from an idea into real production as a PvP extraction game. And almost immediately, the warning started. From the first year of production, developers were telling leadership what would and would not work in this design, and they were often ignored. Many of them kept repeating one specific warning. Marathon needed a PvE component, some way for regular players, the people who actually show up for Bungie games, to play against the world instead of being hunted by strangers.
If you want casuals,
leadership heard that warning for 5 straight years.
Same with Ark.
You already know what they did with it. Those warnings never left the building,
same thing happened
because
to
something
Ark.
much bigger swallowed everyone's
Ark's still
attention.
popular.
Bungie itself
Nowhere
went
near
up
as
for
popular
sale,
as it was.
and the deal that came out of that sale
From
would
the
end up
what's
steering
name sold
Marathon's
to
fate
player base.
harder than any design argument ever could.
Ark just did the same
first
thing. They
serious
just
suitor
kind of
was
cater to
Microsoft,
streamers and shit.
which had reportedly talked with Bungie as far back as 2020.
They
and
built
the
a whole
talks
game
died
and
in
world
price.
with aliens.
The
with,
revealing part is what Microsoft's own
enemies
dealmakers
built
wrote
around
down the
PvE
following
and
year.
PvE, and then
In
slapped
an
PvP
internal
on it.
briefing from April the 2021, later dragged into the open by a court fight, Bungie sat on Microsoft's final watch list of studios worth buying. The briefing praised Bungie's established ability to ship and scale games, and it flagged exactly one risk: a high burn rate. Bungie was burning through cash to keep Destiny 2 running, while it funded everything else it wanted to build, including Marathon. Microsoft looked at that math and walked away. Sony looked at the same math and wrote a check. In January of 2022,
I think you're right.
Sony announced
I think
it was
you're
buying
right, Baldy,
Bungie
and the
for
fact that it stood
$3.6
and it
billion.
did still stand
By
with
the time the deal
a
closed
big
that
player
July,
base, and
total
still does
settled
even
at
to this
roughly
day. I think
3.7
probably bears you
billion.
out.
One
Like,
former
aside
Bungie
from what
community manager
Bungie fucking it
later
up,
described the studio's
like,
side of
that
it
sort of
in
stuff
3
aside, I
words:
think you're probably right.
an emergency acquisition. The size of that check's going to matter, because a purchase that big has to earn itself back, and Sony had ideas about which game would do the earning. But for Marathon's story, the structure of that money matters even more than the size, because this structure later decides who pays when the bet goes wrong. Roughly $2.5 billion was the actual purchase. The remaining $1.179 billion was retention money for the people inside the studio, deferred payments that Sony's own filings describe as conditional upon their continuous employment. In plain terms, almost a third of the price would only ever reach a Bungie employee if that employee was still there when the money came due. It evaporated for anyone who left and for anyone who was cut. On paper, nothing about Bungie was supposed to change. Sony's announcement promised in writing that Bungie would continue to operate independently, run by its own board and its own management. One report citing sources inside the studio, later described the other side of that promise. If Bungie missed its financial targets by enough, Sony could dissolve that board and take full control. And if you want to know what Sony believed it was buying, read the announcement's own description of the studio. It celebrates Bungie's 3 decades of beloved franchises, and the first franchise it names, ahead of Myth and Halo and Destiny, is Marathon. A game which, at that moment, existed as an early prototype and a 26-year-old memory. 10 months after the Sony deal closed, the world finally got to see Marathon. On May 24th, 2023, at Sony's PlayStation Showcase, Bungie revealed Marathon.
And everyone went, ugh.
Its first completely new project in more than a decade. The trailer was gorgeous, a cast of synthetic runners in a graphic design style nothing else in gaming looked like. And then Bungie described what the game actually was.
I remember, yeah.
A sci-fi PvP.
I remember seeing it, them saying it's going to be an extraction shooter, like how it looks, and everyone sort of universally being like, really? No one was really buzzed for it, as I remember. Like, no one.
Extraction shooter. That one sentence did the damage. The dominant reaction from day one across Bungie's own community was that this was the wrong genre wearing a beloved name. The old Marathon games were story shooters, remembered most for their writing, and a cast of unstable artificial intelligence. This one was coming back as a game where you drop in, loot, and get hunted by strangers. And the most requested version of Marathon, a single-player revival, was ruled out in the same breath, because Barrett himself wrote that Marathon was designed from the start as a PvP-focused game and would not have a single-player campaign. To be fair to him, the version Barrett described still carried pieces of his dream. He promised a world full of persistent, evolving zones where players create their own journey. There was talk of crews discovering an artifact that, once activated, opens a new area of the map for every player on the server. And it was Bungie's job, he said, to create the fun and fantasy, not the busy work and tedium. But while the Marathon trailer did its rounds, the company behind it was starting to crack. If you were a Destiny player in 2023,
on Marathon, we looked the other day. It was about, I think it was
Lightfall
about.
had landed to the
I
worst
think it was about
reception
4K,
in years.
24
and inside
hour.
the building, Destiny 2's
peak.
revenue was running
The Steam
45%
numbers.
below the year's plan. On October 30th, Bungie cut about 100 people after staff had been repeatedly assured.
We watched the Destiny
acquisition
video, and a
meant no
lot of this
layoffs.
stuff was shown in the
And every
Destiny
person
video.
cut
Why
left
they
their
were cutting,
unvested
why the game
acquisition
was kind
shares
of
behind.
doomed regardless.
Sony noticed the numbers too. In February 2024, Hiroki Totoki, the Sony executive who chairs its PlayStation business, told investors he had visited Bungie and seen room for improvement.
This was in the
specifically
Bungie
in how
video
the
we
studio
watched.
spent money and how it owned its development
The
timeline.
main guy from Bungie was,
It was
like
phrased politely, and it was a warning.
spunking too much
Then
money
came
on
the
like
strangest twist
cars
of the whole
and
pre-launch
shit, and they were
story.
just wasting
In
a
March
ton of it.
2024, a designer named Joe Ziegler, the man who had directed Valorant at Riot Games before joining Bungie,
Real bad
posted
state.
a cheerful update to social media. He wrote, "Fun update. For the last 9 months, I have been working on Marathon as the game director." 9 months. The director of Bungie's most important new game had been replaced the previous summer, and nobody outside the studio knew. Even inside, staff had been told Barrett was simply on leave. Bungie had also deleted its own 2023 Marathon developer video without explanation. Barrett was in it. The explanation arrived more than a year after the handover. Reporting revealed that Barrett had been formally fired in the spring of 2024, months after being pulled off the game, after an investigation into complaints from at least 8 female employees about inappropriate behaviour.
Nice.
Barrett denied wrongdoing, saying he never understood his communications to be unwanted, and that he was truly sorry if anyone felt otherwise. In December, he sued Bungie and Sony for more than $200 million, and the largest specific line in that lawsuit is worth remembering. He claimed over $45 million due under the retention agreements. The pool built to keep people at Bungie was now the thing its fired director was suing to collect. While the lawyers loaded up, the studio kept feeding Marathon. In June 2024, Bungie cancelled Payback, the Destiny spin-off it had in development, and moved most of that team onto Marathon. Inside Bungie, Marathon was becoming the golden child, fed first while the other
straight dudes like perving on women or sending dick pics is absolutely nothing compared to the sort of message you'll get from an anonymous gay dude that thinks you're attractive. That people are absolutely next level. Speaking from first-hand experience, when I was doing the OF, like, girls talk about dick pics and stuff on Twitter. You have no idea the sort of insanity gay dudes would send me on Reddit and stuff or whatever. The unwarranted, unknown, random. Oh yeah, oh no, you do. Yeah, not nowhere near even close to the same as some dude creeping in the DMs sending dick pics like, yeah, hello. It's nowhere even close to the sort of thing some horny gay dude will send you.
The children starved, and the company's future was narrowing to a single bet. Then on July 31st, 2024, the bill came due because the money had kept deteriorating, with Destiny 2 still missing
Lemon knows as well.
And the incubation projects Parsons would soon blame, having spread the studio too thin.
Yeah, it's not even on the same
roles
level.
Eliminated, 17% of the studio. Another 155 people were moved out of Bungie and into Sony itself.
Oof.
In 1 year, Bungie had gone from more than 1,400 people to about 850. Pete Parsons,
look at
the
that.
chief executive, who'd been at Bungie for 2 decades and now chaired its board, wrote the memo himself. "We were overly ambitious," he said. "Our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red. Some staff found out they had been cut by reading the blog post." And the same memo told the survivors exactly
Imagine
where the
you,
future lived,
bro.
because in Parsons'
you found out
words,
you lost your
the
job
studio
because you
would
read
focus
about it in a
development
blog
efforts
post by the
entirely
company.
on Destiny and Marathon.
Oof.
2 of Destiny's most recognisable leaders, Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy, left the same week. And 2 days after the layoffs, reporting surfaced an uncomfortable detail about the man who signed them. Over the previous 2 years, Parsons had allegedly spent at least $2.4 million winning auctions for vintage cars, including a Porsche at $201,000
that's what it said in
right
the
after the first round of cuts.
in the Destiny video.
Bungie developers responded with fury, and for the wider community, this marked the start of a lasting distrust of Bungie's senior leadership.
Wow.
Marathon was now Bungie's designated hard carry, the one game expected to drag the entire studio back to safety. Bungie had cancelled a Destiny spin-off for it, cut a fifth of the studio around it, and lost the director who dreamed it up, all before the public had seen 5 minutes of real gameplay. That changed on April 12th, 2025, when Bungie put Marathon back on stage, with a price, $40, and a launch date. The man presenting it was Ziegler, and buried in that day's announcement,
tell him how
with no
to sort it
fanfare
out,
at all,
bruv.
was an admission of how much of the original pitch had died with the handover. Remember, Barrett had promised a world full of persistent, evolving zones. Ziegler now explained that in early playtests, the maps had acted like a persistent world, where you could drop in and out of the same map server multiple times. Players found it unfair and unpredictable, he said, so it was gone. In his words, the version of Marathon they settled on gave everyone a fresh start with every match. The living world had become a lobby. What replaced it was a menu of runners, playable characters with names and fixed abilities, which fans of a certain fired director might have recognised as the exact thing his old 2-word rule, no heroes, had forbidden. There was one more design decision hiding in plain sight, and it turned out to be the most important one Bungie ever made. Marathon was designed for trios, 3-person crews matched against 5 other teams of strangers on maps built around team fights. If you wanted to play alone, the game would feed you into someone else's war. The community saw the trio's design for what it was and made the joke immediately. Bungie had built a $40 game on the assumption that gamers have 2 friends with the same schedule. 11 days later, the public finally touched it. The closed alpha ran from April 23rd to May 4th in exactly 2 countries, the United States and Canada. 18 players per map. Runs capped around 25 minutes, and no proximity chat in a game Bungie kept describing as a social experience.
That's wild.
What the testers found was stranger than a broken game. A Bungie shooter with immaculate gun feel wrapped around an extraction loop that did not want to be there.
Yeah, they know how to do gunplay. That's the thing. They really do.
Filled up in minutes.
Even playing Destiny the other day, the gunplay is excellent.
Runner and the wall hack.
Probably one of the things that carried it for so long is how good the combat
through
feels.
The test, Bungie ripped out the PC aim assist entirely.
Yeah, we watched this. This guy had a video about Destiny. We watched that one too.
The players who came to test it left.
Over the years, how they just
how
Bungie just trashed it like year after year.
even after a big mid-alpha patch. The press verdict screamed boredom and a hollow world.
Yeah,
As for
literally
the casual players,
ran
were
it
turned off by
into
the
the
entire
ground.
idea of losing
And
their
then
gear
between
to
this and their
strangers.
deal with Activision,
And in any live service game,
just killed it
casual
regardless
players
of
are
how
the
good it was at
majority,
the end.
the people who keep the lights on and the developers fed. Worse still, the comparison that would haunt Marathon for the rest of its life was born in those same 2 weeks. Arc Raiders, another extraction shooter from another studio, ran its own test in the same window, and the initial impression for Arc Raiders seemed to fare better than that of Marathon. An early preview of the trend that will solidify in player numbers down the line. Ask the players why, and the answer in the threads was always some version of the
like
same
that.
thing.
Again, whilst the
game
company
welcomed
head
average
was
players,
like
and Marathon fed on them.
buying
Every
like
warning
fancy
the developers had
cars
raised
with the
privately
company's
for 5
funds and
years
shit.
was now measurable.
Very
Bungie's
smart
response was
guy.
to keep marching towards September. Within 2 weeks, that plan, and very nearly the studio itself, would be blown apart by a single social media post. On May 15th, 2025, a Scottish independent designer named Fern Hook, known online as Anti-Real,
Oh, this is
posted
the
a set
this
of
is the
side-by-side
theft of the
images.
artwork.
One side showed poster designs she had published in 2017. The other showed Marathon's environment art, where her designs appeared nearly wholesale. And in at least one texture, her scratched-out artist tag was still legible in the game files.
Wow.
The meme the subreddit had celebrated was part of the same stolen work. Her statement had no anger left in it, just exhaustion. Bungie was not obligated to hire her, she wrote, even while building a game that drew overwhelmingly from the design language she had spent a decade refining. But clearly her work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all over
Is
their
Div
game
2 popping
without
right
pay
now?
or attribution. She added that she had lost count of how many times a
I'm
major
still waiting
company
for the
had
crossplay
found it
real
easier
hard.
to imitate or steal her work than to write her an email.
Every time I install
It
that
took
game, I have a
Bungie
good
less
lot.
than
I have a lot of
24
fun with
hours
it.
to
I just
respond,
burn
and
out
the
on
response
like
made everything worse.
UB third
The
person
studio
quite quick,
confirmed
like
the
Ghost Recon
unauthorized
and stuff.
use
It's quite
and blamed a
it's
former
quite quick to
Bungie
burn out
artist
on it now.
who'd included her work in a texture sheet, adding that the current art team had known nothing about it. Maybe that read as plausible the first time. The problem is that this was the 4th time in 4 years Bungie had been caught shipping art it did not own, across 4 separate incidents and 4 different artists, from a Destiny expansion in 2021 to another in 2023 to a Nerf blaster in 2024. Once is a rogue employee, 4 times starts to look like a pipeline. And one more detail made the "we did not know" defense even harder to swallow. The next evening, a Friday, Bungie put Ziegler and Cross in front of a camera for an apology stream. Cross read a prepared statement and looked, in the community's own description, like a man who had not slept in weeks. He insisted the majority of the assets were original and that the tainted set was very small. Yet the audit running behind the scenes was sweeping enough that Bungie could not show the game on its own stream, and the marketing campaign was being rebuilt from zero. The chat was merciless the entire hour, and by the end of it, the community's verdict on the whole evening was that Bungie really messed up this time. Bungie's own subreddit split in half over the scandal, defenders insisting the style predated one artist, everyone else reading 4 incidents as a pattern. But even the defense conceded the cost in plain terms. Bungie already had an uphill battle selling this game, and it had just become a mountain, and the scandal compounded a collapse already underway, because in the days after the alpha, the marketing plan had been thrown out, a June trailer and pre-order push were pulled, and the planned August public beta shrank into a vague roadmap of playtests. And the scandal did something subtler too. It cracked the studio open for the press, and what leaked out over the following days was bleaker than any stolen poster. Reporting from inside the building described a team in free fall, and it put on the record, for the first time, how long the people making Marathon had been shouting into the void. This is when the world learned who the pitch had really come from, a small circle of senior insiders whose ideas did not get questioned, that developers had been warning them for 5 years, and that the plea for some sort of PvE mode had been repeated and ignored the entire time. The Marathon team, roughly 300 people, while the rest of Bungie kept Destiny alive, now got to watch their private frustrations become headlines. People were leaving the company voluntarily over the negative press. By the 3rd week of May, the outside verdict read like an obituary. Marathon, the argument went, was aimed between 2 audiences and would land on neither. It was too punishing for the millions who loved Bungie's approachable shooters, and not special enough to pull the Extraction faithful away from the games they already lived in. The sharpest version of the diagnosis called it mass incompetence and declared Marathon as good as dead. That was the state of Bungie's 20-year dream project, 4 months from its release date. Sony's leadership chose that exact moment to project confidence. On June 13th, Herman Hulst, the executive who runs PlayStation's entire studio business, stood in front of investors and addressed the Concorde disaster, the hero shooter Sony had pulled off the market the previous year. Sony had reviewed its processes, he said, to make sure it was not going to make the same mistakes again. The same day, coverage of the briefing summed up the message in 4 words. It remains on track. 4 days later, Bungie delayed Marathon indefinitely. There was no new date, only a promise of an update in the fall, and an admission in Bungie's own words. The team needed more time to craft Marathon into the game that truly reflects your passion. Read the improvement list Bungie attached, and you can hear the alpha feedback echoing back, one item at a time. More challenging enemies, more rewarding runs, a darker tone, a better experience for solo players and duos, and proximity chat. Almost line for line, it was the list players had been shouting since April. What happened next inside Marathon's subreddit looks bizarre from the outside and makes perfect sense from the inside. The indefinite delay of the studio's most important game in a decade landed as good news, and Threads celebrated it as a victory, because after those playtests, more time was the sanest thing Bungie could buy. The dominant read was relief, because the delay post proved for the first time that Bungie was capable of hearing the 2 demands the community had been repeating: solo play and proximity chat. Players had watched the studio refuse to budge on both for a year. Watching it finally bend felt like hope. Outside the fan bubble, the same announcement read as a company in serious trouble. Both reads were about to be tested against the money, because the delay had just moved Marathon's fate onto Sony's earnings calendar. On August 7th, 2025, 3 years and 3 weeks after Sony's deal closed, the polite fiction of Bungie's independence ended on an earnings call. The voice delivering the news was Lin Tao.
Because nowadays, the reason, Wally B, is because there's so much money and so many of these studios sell their souls, and these giant corporations, and all they're interested in is numbers on a spreadsheet. Player numbers and profit, that's all they're interested in. They do it, and they spend 100 million on a bunch of market research, and a bunch of retards tell them they want a certain type of game. None of these people, well, nowhere near enough of these people are actual gamers and in the, like, sort of in this world and understand what people actually want and what makes a good game and what doesn't. There's just an enormous disconnect now between genuine people who are genuine motivated devs who are inspired to make a good game. Like, it's not like you don't get good indie studios with these type of people, but now that there's so much money in some of these huge studios, all they're interested in is the next big, paycheck, payoff next year. Like he just said on the financial calendar, payoff. We want our next 100 million. We want our next thing to show to the investors. Like you're on our fucking clock now. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. They want DLC tie-ins. They want live service. Exactly. They want you paying, and they want you to keep paying. Exactly. Infinite money. Correct. Infinite money. They don't see it like that because they're not passionate. They're just interested in profit and growing their bank account, their cachet, their portfolio, and the portfolio of their company. And they're just doing it off the backs of an industry they knew nothing about 30 years ago because it was nowhere near as big as it is now. We were the people that helped build it, and these passionate developers. And sadly, some of these passionate developers, as you've seen in some of these videos, are part of the reason it fell apart. Because in 1995, one of these guys was a nerdy guy on their own. The story that I watched, the Battlefield one, and Battlefield, it talked about the original DICE, all these the original Swedish guys who first made 1942 and bought the engine off of another company. All the original people at DICE are long gone. They all left. They were all left or bought out fucking 10 years ago, somewhere in the middle of Battlefield 3 or 4 or something like that. They're all long fucking gone. Like the original people there, like, and most of the original devs, it's all this same sort of thing. But not everyone. Some of these people stay and they're corrupted and they take the money and they themselves bring the game into the fucking floor. Like,
kind that sounds gentle and means everything.
I like the art style in
independence,
Silk
she
Song,
said,
but I thought it was too
getting
difficult,
lighter,
I'm going to be honest.
which
I'm
is
not good at
corporate
them sort of
language for
games
being
anyway.
taken away,
But
piece
Hollow
by
Knight
piece.
was great.
The direction,
Hollow Knight
in
was
her
like
words,
10 out of 10.
was for Bungie
Silk
to
Song
become
was
part
just
of
like
PlayStation
unnecessarily
Studios.
punishing.
By then, it was barely even
And
news
it just
inside the
soured
building.
me.
Marketing, publishing, human resources, legal, whole departments
yes,
had already
baby,
been
let's go.
folded
Did
into
you tell
Sony
him?
over the previous year and a half. On Marathon, she said two things that investors filed away. We are now fixing the problems, so we believe this launch will happen. And if this launch is cancelled, we need to do the revision
what he's
of
gonna
the
do.
valuation. Strip away the finance speak.
Oh, I
And the message
wonder what
was
he's going
simple.
to do.
Marathon was now holding up the
There's,
paper value
there's,
of
there's,
the
there's,
entire acquisition.
Does Kai
And if
know?
it never shipped, Sony's accountants would finally have to write down what Bungie
I'm
was
assuming he
actually
knows,
worth.
doesn't he?
2 weeks later, the man who built modern Bungie left it. On August 21st, Pete Parsons stepped down after more than 2 decades,
Nice.
calling the journey the honour of a lifetime.
I wonder what he'll do.
Nobody replaced
Because
him.
he don't know anyone.
Reporting
I
said
don't-
Bungie
as
would
far as
simply
I
no
know,
longer have a chief executive at all.
as far as I know, he's just going to
Justin
ask
Truman,
like builder
a
mates of
longtime
his
Destiny
if they've
leader,
got anyone.
took over with the smaller title of studio head. 3
All he
years
can
after
do.
Sony promised a Bungie run by its own board and its own
Oh,
management,
poor Kai. You have
the
to put
chairman
four
was
guys
gone
have
and
to
the
deal with it
company
all
he
tomorrow.
chaired no
Bless.
longer had a chief executive at all. That fall to its credit, Bungie kept the promise it made at the delay. An October technical test
I'm
shipped
gonna,
with solo queue and proximity
I got
chat.
my theory in
The
3rd
two
of September.
concessions
If
the
I
community
pass
had
the
asked
theory
for,
and I get a test
and the leaked
booked,
reactions
if
were
I can get a
reported as
quicker
mostly
test,
positive.
we'll see. If I've got
For
to
a
wait
moment, the turnaround
ages,
story was alive.
I
The
might
problem was
contact
the
him in
calendar,
like,
because while
I don't know,
Marathon
like
tested
October
behind
time,
closed
something like
doors,
that.
the
Maybe.
genre it was built to conquer got conquered.
Like I
by
can last a
someone else.
while. Like I'm
On
saving my
October
money and stuff like
30th,
that, so I'm good. But
2025,
we'll see.
Arc Raiders launched
And I
at
might
the same
say like
$40
October till
in the
Christmas, or
same
maybe
extraction
November
genre,
till Christmas. Do
and then
like
did
6
everything
weeks. I don't know
Marathon had
yet.
failed to do.
Because I know my mate.
Climbed for
I
weeks
see my mate Mike, who Bill used to know. He was in Upminster. He had a job in Upminster, so I might ask him. Because Mike doesn't always work like where I can get to. He lives near Chelmsford, but sometimes he has jobs in Upminster. So I might as well just say to him, like, not necessarily permanent, but if you've got a job in like in my area in Upminster or whatever that I can get to, and you need someone, it's like 2 weeks or whatever. I'll do that. So yeah, it'd be interesting. He's gonna like. What are you gonna do? Text him tomorrow morning? Are you gonna be nice about it, or are you gonna like? What are you gonna say? Sorry, chat. This is like IRL drama. Are you gonna like be like just I got another job, like thanks and that? Are you gonna sort of not burn the bridges, or are you gonna say to him, or are you gonna be like normal about it? Fascinating, chat. It was gonna be a cunt. I mean, you might. I get the urge. I agree. I'm not saying no, don't listen to Kev at all. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. But the thing is, say you want to go back with Paul, or say you want to go back with someone, even just who knows him for a little bit, and you're young as well, don't burn the bridges just yet. Because like you might still be able to like you won't necessarily need to, but you'll get work through other people and stuff. So it's just don't like you don't need to like make it so that there's like bad vibes there or whatever.
Steam peak of 481.
Because like you don't know either. He might get desperate. I mean, it's not like you would necessarily want to stay, but he might get desperate at some point or need you and offer you more money. So there's not like, and he was going to retire anyway. So even if you wanted to talk shit to him, in 6 months he'd be retired. And if you really wanted to, or you had worked with him again, or just through the grapevine you heard him like moaning or whatever, you couldn't you? Yeah, I'll vote. I agree with your mum on this one. As fun as it would be, just be like, thanks for like I said, because it was true. It weren't a lie when I said, oh, you know, we've done, because I said to him like, you know, I've done some like really good jobs. We've been really proud to like finished some of the driveways, and we are, aren't we? We were proud. You stand there at the end and you're like, we fucking done all that in like 2 weeks or whatever. And it looked sick. So it wasn't a lie. But I just didn't say, but as well, by the way, Simon, you don't know how to talk to people. Like, and you make it, and you create stress at work where there doesn't need to be any. Not just about when people fuck up, just creating. Don't know how he can't regulate his emotions. He just can't regulate his emotions, like at all, in a work environment. Yeah, and he knows anyway. He knows your mate Rick is like Riohan says, and he knows your mate Rick is a plasterer. So, yeah, that's good. If he gets shitty with you, then get shitty with him. Yeah, exactly. That's a good call.
1,966 players, more than 2 weeks in, higher than its own launch day. In December,
no, but I don't
it won
work
Best
in them sort of places,
Multiplayer at the Game
Waldy.
Awards.
I don't work places where... The only place I'd ever worked where there are egos is the gym. But for the most part, it's all bullshit. Like, people in gyms, the sort of gyms that have ego issues are not gyms with, like... They're not gyms with big bodybuilder types and, like, naughty people. You do get those people, like, around everywhere. But for the most part, gyms where there's ego are the sort of gyms I worked at Everlast, where it's, like, kids... younger people filming, people like that's that sort of thing, like where it's a bit more of like a flashy gym or like a more commercialized gym. Where I worked at Abs, there's no drama ever. There's obviously some people fuck around or whatever. You get like, again, people fucking around just because some people are fucking retards. But Abs is like not a hardcore bodybuilding gym, but it's a bodybuilding gym. And you don't get no drama in there ever. There's zero. Way more drama when I worked at Everlast, which is like all shiny and fancy looking, but it's not like a serious, like hardcore gym. It's just that, you know, it's not like, and when like, I never worked places, when I was younger there was a little bit of ego, but we're talking like nearly 15, 20 years ago, so I can't really remember. But since then, I'll be honest with you, I don't deal with, for the most part, if I have drama at work, I just quit. That's how I deal with it. Especially if it's like a superior, I just walk. Especially if it's a big company, I just walk. If it's the sort of place where you can't like speak to the person and be like, you're not going to fucking talk to me like that. Like, if it's one-to-one, like building trade or whatever, again, generally I've never had an issue. But those sort of places are where like, you might actually have an argument with someone on the job. But that's, I would say for me, been kind of rare. The only places I've ever had a slight bit of drama is places where, again, it's like gyms and it's a chain or it's owned by a big corporation. So you've got a management structure above you where they know that you can't step outside the bounds because they can just say, oh, well, because of the rules. Places like that, if I ever get any drama, I will just fucking walk on you. And you're going to have to film my position. Like, I don't give two fucks. People they're not paying you so that they can talk to you like a cunt. No one is paying you so that you can be spoken to like a cunt. They're paying you to do a job. If you're not doing your job, they can say, you're not doing your fucking job, sort it out. You're supposed to be doing X, Y, Z, and you're not. That's fine. But if it's just drama, nitpicking, like chest flexing, people who are arrogant, who've got egos at work, and it's like, well, in polite society, you and I would be on the same level. But because here, and I feel a bit either insecure around you, at the gym I worked at, Impulse, I got complained about by one of the higher ups, and I know for a fact, because I spoke to the guy a few times, and I'm good at reading people, that he felt insecure around me. He was like, wannabe with his Instagram and all this posing in the mirror, and I came in as like way lower down, like just one of the fitness people who worked in the gym, looked 10 times better than him. He had like, I'm not trying to be like a cunt about it, but he had some cringe fucking tattoo on him. He was just one of them people, and I could tell he felt like insecure, like he felt like he was just totally mocked by me in his own mind. Nothing to do, I was never trying to like make a thing about this because I'm a chill person, but I know for a fact, and he waited for his moment, and this guy complained about me knowing there was nothing I could do. So I walked and I sent him an email telling him I knew it was him and that he was a pussy. I never got no reply, nothing. Because I knew I was right, and I just walked out the door. They called me in, spoke to me about it, and I was like, yeah, all right. And I just walked, mate. Not in like a nasty way. I told my people who I work with, who were chill, but I was like, yeah, I'm not staying. All this 2 weeks, all this, no. I don't settle for any of it, because I'm like, no, I'm not. I have to spend like majority of my life here. There's no way I'm putting up with any more stress than I need to. So either I'm going to tell you, depending on the environment, and we're going to settle it now, or I'm going to fucking leave. I'm not paid so that you can like do weird power plays and talk shit. Because if you tried something like this in the real world, like we all know how like people would be having words, and then if it gets worse than that, you fight. In the real world, there's like consequences immediately for like being underhand or fucking around, and in your personal life. But at work, people are like, especially again in like places where there's a corporation and there's rules, people are protected by this like etiquette and the hierarchy. I don't play that game at all, and I don't think you ever should, really. I don't think it's ever worth, and then it'd have to be some insane amount of money for me to like be able to hold my tongue and like eat away at my own sort of dignity or self-respect and deal with these people and kowtow to weaker people for unjust things or things that I think are, you know, unfair, or, you know, you name it. You name it. Do you ever think, fuck, I need the money? Well, yeah, but just get another job. Even if it's a shit job and you only have to do it for a month or whatever. Either live, if you've got savings like I'm doing right now, basically living off very like frugally off my savings and doing little bits and bobs, or get another job, even if it's a shit job, and even if you have to bounce out of it in a month or two. Like, you know, I don't know how much money I'd have to earn to deal with some of the people like I've either like walked out of jobs on, or just arrogant, egotistical manager types. Like, you'd have to be paying me, even if you were paying me hundreds of thousands, I would just get fired, because I wouldn't put up with it. I would never put up with people playing these games or speaking to me the way like some people do. But that's the shit you get fired over. I don't mean because you're hitting people or because you're like causing drama. But if some manager gives it to the big un, like, or gives it to you or whatever, and you're like, don't you ever fucking talk to me like that again, you cunt. I don't care who you are. Those sort of people, when they do shit like that, if they open their mouth and you speak to someone like that, what happens is they never argue for the most part. Some of them might give it and all this, but most of them, they're like all funny about it, and then immediately the complaint's going in. That's you done. Because that's what those people are waiting for. There's so many people like that in so many industries. They're just waiting for you to fuck up so they can like do it officially and whatever. Because they've got power over you in that scenario. Because like I said, the hierarchy and that. Yeah, I believe you, Kev Dog. So yeah, it's just not, I just don't think it's worth it. I've worked places and I've stayed there for years where people were chill and I weren't earning like as much money, but it was a chill job. Like, I've never, I mean, I'm not like the most, like motivated person when it comes to work. I could definitely have like tried to get a better job or stayed in jobs I was in or stuff like that, but I've always tried to like balance that, being happy and being able to get through it, like without it just being like torturous and boring, you know.
By the following May, it had passed 16 million copies and become the best-selling game its publisher Nexon had ever released. The question of whether extraction shooters could go mainstream had been answered for good. The answer just did not involve
Luckily, Vikes haven't had to deal with
11
anything
days
like that
after Ark Raiders arrived, Sony's accountants made their first move. On the November earnings call, Sony wrote down 31.5 billion yen of Bungie's value, about $200 million, and attributed it to Destiny 2 falling short. Then Lin Tao looked ahead and named names. Marathon, which is going to be launched, and Destiny 2, if the performance does not reach what we expect, will result in a risk of impairment loss. She also confirmed that Marathon's launch was already baked into Sony's forecast for a fiscal year ending March 31st. Hold those two statements together, and that whole winter explains itself. Marathon's release date was no longer about the game being ready. It had a filing deadline. December brought one piece of genuine closure. The dispute with Anti-Real was resolved to her satisfaction. terms undisclosed, and the shipped game would carry her name in the credits as a visual design consultant. The artist Bungie had deflected onto a rogue employee
She get paid
was
for
now
that?
formally
Oh, she
part
said
of
they settled,
Marathon's
yeah.
design history.
Take it.
Then, 7 weeks before
Peace out,
launch,
Kev Dog.
Bungie made a change it never explained. A January developer video walked through the 7 playable shells, and the hero names from the test era were gone. Locust became Destroyer, Void became Assassin, and the rest of the roster followed. Characters flattened into descriptive job titles. The press noticed what Bungie would not say. The hero roster of the Ziegler era, the thing Barrett's No Heroes manifesto had forbidden, was being walked back into anonymous shells at the finish line. It changed little about how the game played. As a statement about how confident the studio was in its own vision though, 7 weeks from launch it said plenty. 20 days out came the final free test. A server slam open to absolutely everyone. On day 1, 143,621 people played Marathon at once on Steam, the largest crowd the game has drawn to this day. It was still smaller than the free crowd Ark Raiders had pulled for its own slam months earlier, and Marathon's crowd thinned by nearly half within 2 days. But the community was euphoric and Marathon sat in Steam's top sellers, at last. On March 5th, 2026, 26 days before Sony's fiscal year closed its books, Marathon launched. 16 years after a contract forbade it, 6 years into production, 1 director down, and 1 genre war already lost. Bungie's old dream was finally a real product you could buy for $40. What $40 bought was thinner than anyone expected. 3 maps and a single mode. The endgame zone, the ranked mode, and the season event were all missing, promised for later in the season.
Rough.
The seasonal structure carried its own catch, disclosed 2 days before launch. Every 3 months, a full wipe. Your gear, your contracts, your faction progress, and your level, all reset, with only cosmetics surviving. Now, seasonal
Also
wipes are a tradition
rough.
in extraction shooters, and the genre's veterans shrug at them. Marathon's problem was that it
If you're
needed
going to try
everyone
and grab
else,
like regular
and
people,
the average player,
and it's
learning
not
about full
opt-in.
resets
Ark, I
literally
think, did
2
that
days
right,
before
but they have
launch,
since
is
wiped people, I
3-month
think.
wipe, and
I
concludes,
think Ark has
maybe
wiped
this
people
game's
if you
not
do
for
the
me.
expedition,
Players started
but you
saying
get
exactly
more
that
stuff
out loud.
if you do the expedition, and I think if you don't do it or you don't opt in, you don't get your stuff wiped. Which, wherever I think of Ark, that's still a good system.
Within weeks. Everything you built in Marathon had a scheduled demolition date. Day 1 on Steam peaked at 88,337 concurrent players. Respectable in a vacuum, except nothing about this launch happened in a vacuum. That crowd was almost 40% smaller than the free weekend had drawn a week earlier, which meant most of the people who tried Marathon for free had declined to pay for the game after their free trial. Slay the Spire 2 launched the same day at $25 and ran nearly 5 times Marathon's player count. To put it into context, Marathon's launch peak came in even lower than that of Highguard, another big-budget live service shooter that became an industry meme. Still, the first 2 weeks were genuinely good. Steam reviews in week 1 ran close to 90% positive. The subreddit was a wall of enthusiasm, converts posting about the best extraction shooter they had ever touched. The people who bought Marathon did not dabble in it, they moved in, averaging almost 28 hours of playtime on Steam in the first 3 weeks, with a fifth of the audience blowing past 50 hours. Whatever else this story becomes, the game underneath it had real pull for the people it fit. The sourness started with the store. On day 1, players found currency packs of 1,100 coins, facing items priced at 1,120, and one-use cosmetic colour items called shaders, the exact system Destiny 2 players had once forced Bungie to abandon. Bungie had promised that survival would never come down to how much money you spend, and technically the store kept that promise. But a $40 game with free-to-play monetization bolted on at day 1, read as an insult, and Bungie was patching prices and difficulty within about 48 hours. Then there is the story of Marathon's review score, which is really 2 stories, and Bungie choreographed both. On launch morning, Bungie sent critics a request, described in its own guidance as not a mandate but a suggestion. Please hold your scored reviews until you reach Cryo Archive, the pinnacle endgame zone. The catch is that Cryo Archive was not in the game. It arrived 15 days later, behind gates that demanded level 25, every faction unlocked, and a fortune in gear. Requirements the overwhelming majority of buyers would never meet. So so the professional scores never arrived and the scoreboard filled in without them. On March 14th, with only the early reviews counted, Marathon's Metacritic settled at 72. The lowest rated game Bungie had ever released, lower than the original Destiny at launch, lower than every Halo. For 11 days, that number sat in public. Then the held reviews arrived all at once, and they were glowing. Major outlets landed 9s, the aggregate jumped 10 points to the low 80s, and the headlines flipped from lowest rated Bungie game ever to no longer Bungie's lowest rated game. None of those stellar reviews were fake, and the case that Marathon's gunplay and presentation earned them was real. But the 82 the world now quotes was manufactured twice over. Once by the request that delayed the scores, and once by pegging them to an endgame most buyers would never see. Players noticed the choreography in real time, asking why a wave of reviews was suddenly appearing 3 weeks after launch. And it was a fair question, because a good game is supposed to hook you from the first hour. Holding judgment until the end game is like being told a TV show only gets good in Season 8. Nobody in their right mind will start watching. The same week the scores recovered, the sales data landed, and it explained why nobody at Sony was celebrating. Analysts measured about 1.2 million copies sold, roughly $55 million gross before microtransactions, and inside that estimate sat the number that defines this entire story. On Steam, 78.2% of Marathon's players had also played Destiny 2. After 6 years of development aimed at conquering a new audience, nearly 4 out of 5 buyers were the audience Bungie already had, wearing a different helmet. That number carries 2 poisons. Commercially, Marathon had not grown Bungie's business. It had mostly moved the same wallets from one Bungie game to another. And inside the community, it armed the ugliest theory in the room, that if Destiny were ever wound down, its players would have nowhere to go but Marathon. A theory the next 12 months would do nothing to disprove. On the other hand, the eternal optimists read the same numbers and saw a comeback. 3 weeks after launch, industry coverage was declaring Marathon one of the year's unexpected successes. A solid hit against the odds, with about 33,500 playing at that moment. The chart underneath those articles told a different story, because 33,500 meant the game had already lost more than 60% of its launch crowd in 3 weeks, a trajectory that is disastrous for a live service game, a product designed to be played forever. And the slide only continued through April. That is also when the money behind the game stopped being a rumour. Reporting confirmed Marathon's budget was over $200 million, likely more than $250 million, not counting the ongoing cost of running it. Set that against roughly $55 million gross, and you no longer need an analyst to explain the mood at Sony. This was a must-win that had brought in about a fifth of its build cost, after hundreds of employees had spent half a decade building it. And the game the remaining players were living in had become something Bungie never intended. Marathon's lobbies became famous for one behaviour: shooting first and asking nothing. Crews hunted crews from the drop, because the map design funneled everyone toward the same fights, and the loot on the ground was worth less than the loot on your corpse. New players got farmed by the small hardcore that remained, and the community's own warning from a year earlier played out in real time. People will tolerate difficult. They will not tolerate being served up as food, night after night. The endgame steepened that food chain. Cryo Archive, the zone the review scores had waited for, demanded so much progression that the realistic audience was estimated at the top 0.5% to 5% of players at best. Everyone else got to watch it on stream. And what they watched in early May was the game's whole culture packed into one clip. A streamer used an out-of-bounds glitch to hide inside the raid's final boss room, waited for a rival crew to finish the hardest fight in the game, then ambushed them and took everything they had earned. He cheerfully described it as the most evil thing he had ever done in a game. Bungie, which had never punished out-of-bounds play before, patched the exploit within the week, mailed the victims compensation packages, and handed out a 30-day ban. All of it fed the strangest statistic of Marathon's whole run. In late April, Marathon was the single most searched game on SteamDB, the most looked up title on the biggest PC gaming database on the planet. At that same moment, it had 5,649 people actually playing, while Ark Raiders ran 6 times that. Everyone was watching Marathon. Almost nobody was playing it. The internet had collectively decided this was the most interesting death in gaming, and the people watching the wreck outnumbered the people playing the game. The one bright spot of that stretch proved a point nobody at Bungie seemed ready to hear. In mid-April, an experiment called Sponsored Queue handed every player an identical free loadout. Lose it, and you lost nothing of your own. It was, in everything but name, a battle royale mode with the extraction economy switched off. And players loved it. They begged Bungie to keep it. The mode everyone praised was the one that stopped being an extraction shooter, which is about as clear as feedback gets. Then came May 8th, and the bill for all of it arrived in Tokyo. Sony's full-year earnings landed, and buried in the presentation was the second write-down, 88.6 billion yen this time, bringing the year's total against Bungie to 120.1 billion yen, roughly $750 million, more than a fifth of what Sony had paid for the studio 4 years earlier. To put it simply, a write-down is Sony formally admitting in its audited books that what it bought will never earn back what was paid. An admission companies avoid until the numbers leave no choice. Marathon had launched on schedule, the revenue had not followed, and the accounting finally had to say so. The CFO, who had once said a cancelled launch would force a revision of the valuation, had gotten the mechanism right and the trigger wrong. The launch happened, and the revision came anyway. When Sony's formal annual filing followed in June, its language was the coldest sentence in this entire story. Sony recognised impairment losses for the entire carrying amount of Bungie's non-financial assets, excluding goodwill. Translated out of accounting, Sony's own reports now said that everything it had bought, the projects, the technology, the studio's future output, was worth nothing on paper. The only value left standing was the Bungie name itself. And in all of those pages, one word never appears. The filings never print the word Marathon. One of the most expensive failures in gaming history is written down without ever being written down by name. The absurdity is what happened on the same call, minutes from the write-down, when Sony pledged its support for Marathon and told investors reception was strong, citing a Metacritic score of 82, which, if you recall from earlier, was the number built by the held reviews. Bungie's answer, a week later, was the Hail Mary save plan. A director's blog titled Launch, Learnings and What's Next promised a less grindy game, better onboarding, better matchmaking, real solo and duo support, and, for the first time ever, PvE modes. One experiment soon and a full mode
they
later.
did put in.
The post admitted the game was overwhelming to learn and that new players hit a wall. Compare that list against the alpha complaints from April of 2025, and it shows up as the same list. 14 months later, Bungie admitted, in public, nearly every structural criticism the alpha had made was valid, which begs an uncomfortable question. What was the team doing with that list the whole time? Some of it, like proximity chat and solo queues, did get built. The structural half, the half about who this game was for, sat untouched until the players had already left.
No solos.
The community's response was euphoric, and for good reason. It was the first time the studio had sounded like it understood. Julia Nardin, Marathon's creative director, spoke about knowing where the story would go over the next few years. By then, Marathon was running below 15% of its launch day peak, and 1 week after the save plan promised Marathon a future, Bungie ended Destinies. On May 21st, 2026, Bungie announced that Destiny 2's live service was ending. One final content update on June 9th called Monument of Triumph, and then no more seasons, no more expansions ever. The servers would stay online and the game would remain playable, but the machine that had carried Bungie for a decade was being switched to idle so that everything left could point at Marathon. The same day, reporting said Bungie was planning significant layoffs and had no Destiny 3 in production. For the Destiny faithful, that announcement recast Marathon overnight, from the studio's new game into the thing their game had been killed for. They marched onto Marathon's Steam page and said so, in hundreds of negative reviews that name-checked Destiny, though in fairness the data shows defenders answering in equal numbers. The story that stuck, the one that followed Marathon everywhere after, was that Destiny had died for this, and Marathon was dying anyway. Season 2 was now 2 weeks out, and Bungie had strapped what remained of its comeback to it. In the preview push, a senior design lead named Brenton Woodrow described the ambition in words, that would not survive contact with the chart. When a player starts a new season, he said, I want them to feel like we have been able to recapture the magic of week 1 of Marathon's launch. Season 2 arrived on June 2nd, named Nightfall, with the boldest player acquisition move of Marathon's life attached. For 1 week, the full game would be free
grandiose,
for everyone.
like they come out of these grandiose fucking statements. So like,
Bungie invited the world to
so ill-advised every single time.
And then for the first 24 hours of that week, nobody could play.
They can't just be
the
quietly
servers collapsed
optimistic.
on the season's opening day. Veterans spent the night staring at error screens, and the free players Bungie had spent 6 years chasing got a login queue as a first impression. When the servers stabilised, the week could finally answer the question underneath this entire story. Every major decision since 2020 had assumed a huge new audience existed for this game. People who were not Bungie diehards and not Extraction veterans, waiting for the right invitation. The free week was that invitation. No $40 gate, no commitment, just the actual game, handed to anyone curious enough to click. The verdict came back in 10 days of store reviews, and it is the most damning dataset of Marathon's life. Roughly 3,000 fresh accounts, flagged as free week players, wrote reviews in that window. Only 19.3% of them recommended the game, and their median time played was 1.4 hours, most of them gone before their second run. The audience Marathon was trying to win over tried it once for free, and mostly said no. Numerically, the free week backfired. It stamped roughly 2,400 permanent negative reviews onto the store page in 10 days, and dragged the game into the worst week of its life, 39.4% positive. And the season's bitterest detail ran right alongside it. Season 2's opening week also carried sponsored survival, a new 1-week experiment, a cousin of April's free kit mode, but tilted toward PvE, the closest thing to what the warnings had begged for in the past. It ran its announced 7 days, June 2nd to June 9th, and vanished on schedule. And on June 12th, Cryo Archive, the endgame the review scores had been held for, was switched off entirely, while Bungie investigated a bug that left players unrevivable. While Season 2 stumbled through those 2 weeks, the game Bungie had sacrificed for Marathon staged one last show of force. On June 9th, Destiny 2's final content update went live, a send-off called Monument of Triumph. That day, the game being retired peaked at 167,867 players on Steam, almost double the best day Marathon has ever had. Destiny 2 was not being shut down, its servers would stay on, and the game would stay playable. But this was the end of its live service, the farewell party. And the farewell party for the old game outdrew the entire lifetime of the new one, 2-1. If anyone at Sony needed a chart to explain which of Bungie's 2 universes players actually wanted, the players had just drawn it themselves. 16 days later came the day this whole story had been bending toward. On June 25th, 2026, the studio head stepped down,
very awkward, and
the layoffs landed. The paperwork tells it coldest. A Washington state filing recorded 292 employees cut at Bungie's Bellevue office, with their separations taking legal effect on July 9th. Reporting put the true number around 400 once remote staff, and Sony support teams were counted, about half the studio. Sony's own framing confirmed the aim, most of the Destiny team, plus some of Marathon's. And inside that filing, the eliminated roles are listed under the internal codename for Marathon. The codename is Goliath. Bungie had named its comeback project after the giant famous for losing to a shepherd boy named David. The titles on the filing read like a game's credits being erased, line by line. The Goliath General Manager, the Goliath Engineering Director, the Senior Producer and Senior Art Producer, its Story Editor, and its Creative, Art and Test Leads. The General Manager role matches Scott Taylor, who according to his own public profile, had run Marathon in that capacity since March 2019, 4 years before the game was announced. One more title sits in that filing, Chief Vision Officer. The names are redacted, so no document confirms who it was, but Bungie has had exactly one Chief Vision Officer, and reporting across the industry reached the same conclusion. Jason Jones, the man who programmed the original Marathon in 1994, appears to have been cut from the company he co-founded in a layoff filed under his own game's codename. The letter announcing all of this to staff came from Herman Hulst, and it contains a sentence that belongs in a museum. Marathon remains an important part of our portfolio, and we will continue to support the team as they build on the strong foundation established in Season 1 and 2. The strong foundation of Seasons 1 and 2 was the collapse you just watched, and it was being cited as the reason for optimism, in the letter cutting the people who built it. The layoffs also happened to land on the same day GTA 6 pre-orders opened, the one day the entire gaming press was guaranteed to be looking somewhere else. The cuts reached everywhere. Lars Bakken, a Marathon design lead who had been at Bungie for 20 years and 9 months, across Halo 3,
Awkward.
Reach and both Destinies, retired from the industry entirely. One laid-off sound designer posted his own goodbye as a list of everything in Marathon he had built. The dropships, the doors, the barriers, the graffiti, and the elevators. A former Bungie developer named Ben Platnick put the mood in the words that travelled furthest, and he said it plainly. Generational talent, just gone. These people were veterans from the Halo days. The damage was concrete enough to touch even the funeral arrangements, because Destiny 2's final planned hotfix was delayed on account of the people responsible for it having just been laid off. And underneath the human wreckage, the acquisitions machinery did exactly what it was built to do. Every unvested dollar of those employees' retention money evaporated with them, which, in plain terms, means Sony never had to pay it. The pool that had been sold to the world as proof Sony wanted to keep Bungie's people together was, mechanically, a discount that grew with every person cut. Firing half the studio did not just shrink payroll, it shrank the real price of the acquisition. Inside the Marathon community, the defence died that day. The people who had spent months being dismissed as doomers were suddenly just called right, and the loudest voices turned on leadership itself. July began with an ending. On July 8th, Christopher Barrett settled his lawsuit against Bungie and Sony, terms undisclosed, with one visible concession. His name was added to Marathon's credits as its original game director. The man whose dream started this story now exists in it as a line of text in the credits of a game he publicly does not recognise. A week later, the internet noticed Marathon had a new general manager because Bungie never announced one. He was spotted on LinkedIn. Joshua Dean, a Bungie veteran whose recent career ran through publishing, marketing strategy, and franchise planning, rather than game development. After 3 years of churn at the top of the game's design leadership, the studio's answer was to hand its only live game to product management. And then came Friday, July 17th. Joe Ziegler posted that it would be his last day at Bungie. 4 months and 12 days after launching the most expensive project in the studio's history, the game director was heading, in his own words, to something new, somewhere else. He handed Marathon to his assistant director, Del Chafe III, alongside creative director Julia Nardin, and thanked the community warmly on his way out. The problem was the roadmap he left on the wall. Several of the biggest promises from his own Save Marathon plan had not shipped yet, which meant the man explaining Marathon's future was gone before several stops on it arrived. Bungie was down to one game in active service, one bullet left in the chamber, and the person who had aimed it just left the building. The community's eulogy was not kind. In the dominant telling on the subreddit, Ziegler was the director who came in, turned Marathon into a hero shooter, and left before paying for it. Fingers started to point the blame higher up the Bungie chain. It's a leadership pipeline that had now burned through 2 directors, 2 studio heads, a chief executive, and a general manager in under 2 years. 4 days after Ziegler walked, the thing everyone had begged for finally arrived. On July 21st, Vault Breaker went live, Marathon's first fully PvE mode, no rival crews at all. A 2-week experiment where players fight the machines instead of each other and bank persistent upgrades instead of extracting loot. The effect on the player count was immediate. Concurrents jumped to over 14,800, more than double the week before, the busiest Marathon had been since the free week. When solo players reported the mode was tuned for trios, Bungie shipped a solo queue within 2 days, the fastest the studio had ever responded to anything. At the end of the window, Bungie extended the mode 2 more weeks to August 18th to gather more data. Here is what the warnings look like when they finally come true. The PvE mode that developers had begged for since around 2020 arrived in July 2026, 5 years after the first internal plea, 3 weeks after half the studio was cut, and it came stamped as a temporary experiment. every rescue marathon ever got arrived like this. Late, temporary, or already conceded in advance, and each one left the numbers lower than the rescue before it. Vaultbreaker even found the exact customer marathon had been invented to find players who admitted they did not like extraction shooters at all, and had bought the game purely for this mode, asking Bungie to make it permanent. And still the store page would not turn positive. Across the Vaultbreaker window, recent review sentiment fell, from about 76% positive in the low traffic weeks before it, to 66% during it, dragged down by returning veterans who found solo play undertuned and the whole thing time limited by design. The mode everyone wanted could triple the players and still not stop the bleeding, because what players wanted kept arriving with an expiration date printed on it. By then the community had begun trying to rescue the game themselves, and the attempt turned into farce. A fan organised a revival week, urging lapsed players to log in together and pump the numbers, insisting publicly that the game was not dead. The posts promoting it were removed by Marathon's own subreddit moderators, the same moderators who had spent months removing the biggest threads about the collapse, and no explanation was given. Outside the fan bubble, people were now posting Marathon's record-low player counts every single morning, like a weather report, which left the main subreddit to finally hold the funeral itself. One member wrote an open post to the community, asking where everyone went and begging them to come play. Nearly 1,000 replies came back, mostly polite, mostly long, and mostly explaining in detail why they had stopped. One reply described a 46-year-old player who reached level 45 without ever once extracting successfully, and quit 3 weeks before the PvE mode arrived. He was, in essence, the audience Marathon needed, and the audience Marathon spent 6 years failing to serve. Stack those 5 months end to end, and the week-by-week wreckage stops being the interesting question. The numbers were never really the problem. The numbers were the diagnosis, and they all diagnosed the same disease. This game was aimed at people who do not exist. Look at who actually showed up. The launch overlap said almost every buyer was already a Destiny player, the audience Bungie owned before spending $250 million to find a new one. The Extraction faithful stayed in the games they already lived in, exactly as predicted, a problem Arc Raiders made permanent by soaring to dominance of the Extraction genre across those same months. And when a truly new crowd finally touched Marathon during the free week, it delivered the coldest verdict on the store page and left before the second run. There was no vast middle audience, casual enough to be new, hardcore enough to enjoy being hunted, patient enough to lose everything on a schedule. And the people still playing. The defenders are largely genre veterans, and here is the sad part. They mostly agree with the critics. They praise the gun feel, the art, the audio, the craft layer that never stopped being excellent, and they concede the trios problem, the seasonal wipe problem, the emptiness. Defenders and critics agree on what is wrong with Marathon. They only disagree on whether it is worth enduring. The community's early retort to every complaint, "This game is not for you," turned into a joke at its own expense, because the game really had turned out not to be for almost anyone. And the hardcore defenders who stayed were left praising the game inside an echo chamber, long since vacated by the mass market audience that a game this expensive needs to survive. Underneath all the numbers sits the saddest version of this story. The mourning is not really for the extraction shooter that failed, but for the single-player Marathon that will never exist. The strange, literate story game 3 decades of fans assumed would come back
clearly
someday.
done because they fucking
It's one
made
chance of
Destiny and
resurrection was
shit.
spent on this, which brings
Killed
us
that
back
anyway,
to
but
the
this-
math line in the old contract.
And through their own
Recall the 5%
stupidity and
clause.
greed.
The side project Bungie was once legally
Amazing.
forbidden to staff beyond a sliver of the company is now, after everything, the only game Bungie has in active service. The 5% project became 100% of the studio's future. Nobody at Activision drafting that clause in 2010 could have imagined the math inverting like this. And honestly, nobody at Bungie seems to have imagined it either.
Oh shit, I
That
wasn't
leaves
paying
one
attention.
question, and it is the
Sire
question Sony
damage.
keeps answering in the strangest way available. If all of this is so visible, why will nobody in charge say it? On July 31st, 2026, Sony published its quarterly earnings, and its entire public commentary on Marathon came to a single sentence. With the release of Season 2 in June, it read, "Marathon has maintained a high user retention rate while also acquiring new users. set that sentence next to the chart. The last full week before the report, Marathon's weekly peak was 6,552 players, 92% below the launch numbers from 5 months earlier. 2 days after Sony published the words high user retention, the daily peak was even lower at 6,082. In mid-July, that retired Destiny 2, receiving no new content whatsoever, was still drawing 47,000 concurrent players on Steam.
Yeah.
Marathon, the studio's entire future, was drawing 2,800. This is the pattern now, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. In March, Bungie promised in writing that it was in it for the long haul with Marathon, years of steady improvements ahead, 3 months before half the studio was cut. The story plans for the next few years were announced in May, and the game director who would have to deliver them resigned 10 weeks later. Marathon's formal importance to the portfolio was reaffirmed inside the letter that cut its general manager. And the high user retention arrived 2 days ahead of a measly 4-digit daily peak. None of these people are stupid, and that is exactly the point. Nobody inside this machine is permitted to say the obvious thing out loud, because the moment someone says it, the accounting has to follow. And after the accounting, more heads roll. Call it self-preservation, all the way up the org chart. So a game already written down to nothing gets called important, quarter after quarter, in statements that grow 1 sentence shorter each time. And to be completely fair, a serious case exists on the other side. Marathon's craft never stopped being excellent. The shooting, the audio, the art direction that survives even its scandal. The players still playing Marathon say versions of the same thing. The counter-argument has never been about the game's quality, which is precisely what makes this story so bleak. Nothing in the numbers. 5 months of them since launch shows a turnaround no matter what Sony or Bungie says publicly. So where does that leave Marathon? Bungie has not killed it, and Sony keeps calling it important. But the chart has its own opinion, because every rescue bump so far has settled back lower than the one before it. I deliberately held this video for months, waiting to see whether one of those rescues would catch, because Bungie's history of impossible comebacks had earned it that much respect. Looking at the data after every attempt, it is hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the strangest part is that the game has been telling that story itself, the whole time, in its own fiction. In Marathon's world, you are not really a person. You are a runner, an artificial body called a shell, deployed onto a dead colony by corporate sponsors to extract whatever value is left in the ruins. You fight under contract. When you fall, nothing stops, because the sponsor simply activates another shell and sends it back down. And on a fixed schedule, everything a runner has gathered is wiped, and the extraction begins again as if none of it ever happened. Bungie wrote all of that as science fiction, years before any of this happened. And then, in the cruelest twist of fate, the studio lived it. Bungie's people were the runners, deployed by a corporate sponsor whose contract had priced their replacement in advance. Shells whose unvested value flowed back to the sponsor the moment they stopped running. And the studio's progress obeyed the same seasonal wipe its players did, everything it built written down to 0 on a fiscal calendar, while the platform that owned it turned to the next cycle. Even the codename obeyed the fiction. When the layoff paperwork needed to call Marathon something, the word it used was Goliath, the giant remembered for losing to a David. And fittingly, the David that Bungie's Goliath could never beat also starts with a D. Its name was Destiny. Marathon's path mirrors the way its own extraction runs end. It dropped into a hostile world, chasing a treasure its leadership swore was down there, an audience of millions that existed only in the pitch, and it kept searching long after its own developers called the map empty. The players it was chasing were never one map deeper. They were never there at all. And if you want to know how Destiny itself died, killed by a $3.6 billion lie, that story is in the middle of your screen.
We
Subscribe.
watched it already. Yeah, good video, dude. Alright, that's it. Congrats for hanging out. Hopefully... Hang on a minute, ready for this? Hang on a sec. Who have we got?
And you just press it.
No, I don't think so. No, bread's not live. It's so true. I thought bread was live. I will. I'm gonna sort the car, tidy up. I'll be back later. I don't know what the freak is playing, but I'll be back later to see it. Have a nice day. Enjoy your Sunday.